Hi all, you are watching a segment of the Countdown program from September 18, 2023. Today is Monday. Watch the full version on Patreon. The analytical program, Postscript, will also be released there, the topics of which I will tell you a little later. But now to the most important thing. For the last couple of days, rumors have been circulating in the cave that Ramzan Kadyrov listened to Kobzon. But there is no official confirmation of this yet. The mustachioed ventriloquist Peskov, at his briefing, was forced to touch upon the topic of Kadyrov's illness and state that the Kremlin is not aware of any illness of the infantryman. It's unlikely that the presidential administration can issue health certificates, Peskov muttered. Meanwhile, on Sunday, Chechen opposition leader Abubakar Yangelbayev said in his Telegram channel that Kadyrov is supposedly everything. Later, a video appeared where a slightly swollen Kadyrov, with his characteristic shortness of breath, comments on his walk in the rain. The mullah's singing was superimposed behind the scenes, probably to make it more convincing that this was not a path on the territory of the Central Clinical Hospital, but the city of Grozny. Residents of Grozny did not recognize the area, but those who are familiar with the area on the territory of the Central Clinical Hospital confirmed the guess that, most likely, it was filmed somewhere there. Judging by the weather, a week ago. This is how Schrodinger's Kadyrov appeared in the information field. Something similar has already happened to party Janos Zhirinovsky, who spent several weeks practicing his handshake and working hard with documents until he became rotten. Yesterday, on Sunday, a strange movement of premium cars with Chechen license plates was noticed near the Central Clinical Hospital building, which indirectly confirms the likelihood that a high-ranking figure from Chechnya is in the clinic. The information field is full of rumors. Some argue that Kadyrov is in a coma, the kidney has not taken root, and now he will be kept in this condition until the Kremlin approves the candidacy of the new Chechen Sultan. Others say that Ramzan is already a corpse, and the biggest difficulty is to prevent the spread of rumors about his death, in order to somehow later ensure burial according to Muslim canons, which have already been violated. After all, a deceased Muslim must be buried before sunset, which was not done in this case if he actually died. So it looks like Schrodinger will have to live with Kadyrov for some time. The only thing that definitely won't happen is a national farewell in the Hall of Columns, as was the case with the rotten Zurich. As for the official recognition of death, there is good news. Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces have destroyed 620 racist organisms. But not every one of them will go to their own funeral. The same cannot be said about Colonel Andrei Kondrashkin, the commander of an elite military unit of the Russian Ministry of Defense with the call sign, Danube. His thugs took part in the seizure of Crimea and the occupation of Donbass back in 2014. Terrorist Aleksandr Khodorkovsky announced the liquidation of Kondrashkin. Watch this and other stories in full on the Patreon resource. Become our patrons right now and look further in this program. Ahead of his visit to the United States, Ukrainian President Zelensky said in an interview with 60 Minutes that he knows where Ukraine plans to break through Russian defenses. Zelensky's visit to the United States comes as Congress is considering a White House request for additional aid to Ukraine. Today, the head of the Chinese diplomatic department, Wang Wei, arrives in Moscow. Lavrov is already beating his hoof. After all, these negotiations are taking place against the unpleasant backdrop of China blocking the supply of drones to Russia. Today, the UN International Court of Justice in The Hague begins hearings on Ukraine's claim against Russia. Also participating in the process are 32 other UN member countries, whose representatives will also speak during these hearings. The permanent representative of the Russian Federation to international organizations in Vienna, Mikhail Ulyanov, said that Western sanctions give Russia a real chance to overcome the legacy of the 1990s. Well, fine, we will have to wean ourselves off all the pernicious achievements of the West with which the furry people have been tormented over the past decades. This week, Ukrainian President Zelensky, US President Biden and Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov will be face-to-face at the same table at the UN Security Council. And there is a high probability that the fascist horse's mouth will simply be torn apart, regardless of age. Putin's announcement, with ominous hints of vengeance to come, could unite a circle of nightmare oligarchs and create a community of conspirators that could try to get rid of the dictator. So the ice axe launched by Putin can change its trajectory and fall on the bald skull. See all this in the postscript program. And that is all. View our full programs on the Patreon resource. And I'm glad that he's becoming our patrons right now. Hugs to everyone. We'll see you on Thursday. Glory to Ukraine.